Minnesota North Stars, and also Neil Broughton from the Minnesota North Stars. You know, you look at Casey, an experienced goaltender, had an extremely good season. Mike Modano, who's one of the players that is up for the NHL Rookie of the Year, and Neil Broughton, obviously a good friend of mine. I played with him in the 1980 Olympic team. He adds experience, he adds depth in the center position, plus he's very talented, a very gifted player. So there's no doubt that these type of players is one of the reasons the United States has been playing well as of late.
The United States has won the last 4 games in this championship. They are 4-4. This is the 9th of 10 games they will play. They defeated Norway 9-4 earlier in the championship. And Mike, as a veteran of international hockey, what style will we see from Norway?
Well, you're going to look at some names up, as you see right in front of you, that really don't mean that much to you. But what Norway has right now is an experienced team. It's a country that is getting better and better in ice hockey. It is a big sport over there. They have developed some talented players. They play the typical European style of puck control. They play a very tight defensive style of play. They try to keep the games at a low-scoring pace because that's the chance they have of winning if the games can stay low. The first time they played the United States, it got up in the, the United States scored 9 goals. Norway cannot beat the United States if it gets up into those type of numbers. In order for Norway to win the game, the type of style that they play, it has to stay 2-1, 3-2, 4-1 type games. They can't get into a shootout. If they do, they're going to lose.
It's the U.S. and Norway at the Ice Hockey World Championship coming up in a moment. The referee for this game, Jiří Lipa from Czechoslovakia. And he leads the trio of officials. Tim Taylor behind the United States bench must be a bit happier with the way things have proceeded for his team.
Well, he finally gets some players as you look at John Casey warming up, loosening up, stretching out a little. But that has been the basis behind the success that the U.S. teams have had in all the World Championships, is the fact that once they've finally gotten a full complement of players, they've been able to compete with the other teams.
George Kingston with some National Hockey League experience, a one-time assistant with Minnesota, behind the Norway bench. And we're set to go, the United States in white, and Norway in the multicolored uniforms, and we're underway in the Ice Hockey World Championship. And right away, the Norwegians try to flip one on net, and it's knocked down by the Americans, and wheeling back is Mike Modano, number 19. The Minnesota North Stars, one of the new players added. A quick shot by Stevens that was knocked away by Allman, the goalie, and 2 follow shots are also steered away. And the Norwegians come flying back through center, and Stephen Foyne is offside.
You know, the big thing for the United States in this game here is obviously confidence, or overconfidence. They have won the first game, the first meeting against Norway by a score of 9-4. They handled the Norwegians fairly easily. And you don't want to get too excited and too cocky in a game like this. Norway can become an explosive team. They are, as we talked about at the start, a pretty good defensive team if they can get a lead. So it's important for the United States to maintain their composure in terms of not just getting caught up in the excitement of the game and thinking this is going to be a cakewalk. They have to score first. They have to score early and often in order to maintain the fact that Norway can't just play with them back and forth the whole game.
Greg Brown chasing it back into the United States zone. This has to be a little deja vu for you, Mike. You look out here and you see number 5, Neil Broughton, and number 14, Mark Johnson, playing on the same line.
Well, you know, you watch them play, and they're both obviously gifted players, and that's one thing that I've always said. The reason we were successful in 80, you know, it wasn't a miracle, it wasn't a fluke. We had some pretty good players, and, you know, you look at Broughton and Johnson, 2 players 10 years later that are still dominant in their sport, and they're awfully talented.
Here is Broughton with a nice play, still able to hold control of the puck. And finally, Mark Johnson gets it. That was outstanding control by Broughton.
You know, what's funny is to see Broughton and Johnson on the ice at the same time because they're both centermen.
Now at the blue line, and a feed in for Daniel Kesmer, but the whistle stops play. And it's offside.
There's a look at the Magic man, Mark Johnson. I think we called him Magic before Magic Johnson with the LA Lakers became Magic Johnson, although that's an argument we can probably talk quite a bit about. As you can see the offside, the puck clearly on the other side of the blue line.
Third different line already for the United States. It's Kip Miller centering for John Fritchie and Robert Reynolds. There'll be a face-off here in the Norway zone. We're just underway with no score. This is the consolation round of the Ice Hockey World Championship. The United States team lost the first 4 games it played and now has won 4 in a row coming into this game. Kim Seaguard sending it out for Norway. They flip it into John Casey's left. And it comes right in on the doorstep, and Casey is able to smother it long enough to get a play stoppage.
Well, right there, the first opportunity that Norway had. John Casey not quite sure of the rebound and able just finally to handle the puck. See a little ponytail.
Wow.
That's different. Well, it's a different country.
Hey, would that have happened on your Olympic team?
Absolutely. We couldn't have facial hair, only Kenny Morrow, because he was so good. But there you see the replay. As the puck just kind of comes free, Casey makes the initial save, and finally, actually, is not really sure where the rebound is, and the puck still hasn't been controlled, but the referee lost sight of the puck and blew the whistle. Take a look at John Casey in goal. You can see him all decked out in his Minnesota North Star colors. One of the reasons the U.S. team has finally started to play well is the stability that John Casey gives the team. He has experience not only in international play, but obviously in the National Hockey League with the Minnesota North Stars.
A play stoppage, first period, U.S. and Norway, no score.
Does the time-consuming task of putting down driveway sealant make your driveway seem this long? Do it faster and easier with the Roller Coater from Empire Brushes. The Roller Coater puts down the manufacturer's recommended coating of driveway sealant fast and easy. The Roller Coater has a squeegee to smooth out low spots and fill in cracks. Refills can be changed in only seconds by simply snapping in a new roller. So pick up your Roller Coater from Empire Brushes at fine stores everywhere.
On the next U.S. Olympic Showcase, it's round 2 in this World Volleyball League clash. America's #1 team sets its sights on France in Game 2 of this home-and-home series. 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific on Sports Channel America, Sunday. Sunday on the WBL Game of the Week, take a look at 2 of the newest teams in the league when the Erie Wave and Delray Brooks battle Andre Turner and the Memphis Rockers. Live at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Sports Channel America, Sunday.
Back at the Ice Hockey World Championship in Bern, Switzerland, we're just underway. The U.S. and Norway scoreless first period, and right off the draw, walking in on the doorstep and flipping one just wide was Joel Otto.
Otto totally left alone, walked in, made a nice move, and almost put it in the far side.
Otto now is centering Mike Modano and Kevin Stevens, a line that has done very well for the U.S. as this championship has progressed. Now Norway finally clears its zone, but Stevens picks the puck right away and sends in Modano, and he's bumped off the puck. Wheeling back through center is Ajay Ellingson. And it's steered away by Casey with the pads. Here coming back now in is Jeff Norton walking in. And Jeff Norton scores to put the United States in front 1-0.
Oh, what a pretty play and a pretty move by Jeff Norton. Take a look at Norton, New York Islander defenseman. Fakes like he's going to pass the puck right there. See the poke check? Goaltender anticipating the pass across. Makes a nice move, puts it right between the legs. Here's another look at it from above. You can see he almost fakes a pass there. Goaltender anticipates a pass. Tries to poke check the puck, and Norton does a nice job of sliding it right under his legs into the net. And that's a defenseman making a forwards move. Pretty play by Jeff Norton.
Jeff Norton of the New York Islanders with the early goal at 3:44. Now here's a steal, and Casey pokes the puck off the stick of Lebdahl as he was trying to get a shot away. But the United States with the 1-0 lead. Norway has to be thinking, we can't let this be a 9-goal game again.
No, there's no doubt Norway has to try to keep this game played close to the vest, try to hang in there, maybe get into the third period in a 1-goal deficit, 2-goal deficit, because they're not going to be able to beat this team, especially this talented U.S. team, if they get behind by too many goals.
Now again, the puck back in the Norway zone. Look at all the room to to skate in a game like this.
Sometimes it's fun playing in the big ice surface. You know, if you're out there in a game that you're dominating, it's kind of a walk in the park to a degree. But you've got to work pretty hard, and you have to be able to skate in order to play in this type of an arena.
Kip Miller being spun around as shot on net is sticked away by Ullman, but we're going to have a penalty on Norway. So the U.S. will have a man advantage when we return.
Did you hear about it? A big new baseball video that covers all of the 1980s. It's got everything.
Hi, I'm Jack Brickhouse, and I've just seen one of the best baseball videos ever produced. Baseball in the 80s, new from the Sporting News. An entire decade of headline-making, record-breaking baseball action and excitement. Free with your paid subscription to the Sporting News, America's most authoritative, most complete sports weekly, bringing fans unbeatable baseball coverage for over 100 years. Call now to have the Sporting News delivered right to your mailbox every week at a big 46% saving off the cover price. Plus this full-hour video cassette of the decade, Baseball in the 80s, yours free.
Call 1-800-238-3100. Get your free video with 25 issues of the Sporting News for 3 payments of just $9.96. Save 46% off the cover price. Call now 1-800-238-3100. That's 1-800-238-3100.
With Mike Ruzioni, Ted Robinson, the Ice Hockey World Championship in Bern, Switzerland. The United States leads Norway 1-0 in the first period and now is on a power play.
That's one thing the United States has not done well throughout this tournament, is their power play has been very ineffective. And one of the reasons is they have not had a full supplement of players, and it's also something that you haven't had the time to work on. And that's one thing that does take time. Power plays, penalty killing, you have to work in sync, and that's one thing the U.S. hasn't had the pleasure of being able to have.
Back is Chris Dahlquist in the United States end, trying to start out the power play, but the Norwegians bottle it up. A man breaking in front. Nice puck control here by Norway. They have a man injured now to the right of the United States net. We're going to have a penalty coming up. The United States is going to get a penalty to answer. And there's the Norwegian player Lovedahl, who is injured on the ice.
I couldn't really see what happened. The penalty seemed to be away from the play. The puck was in the corner. I'm not sure if it's going to be Joe Sacco. Sacco seemed to be involved as we look at number 3, Chris Dahlquist. I don't believe it was Dahlquist who was involved in the penalty. For some reason, away from the play, you could see Joe Sacco get his stick up with the Norwegian player. And one thing that happens very often, especially when you're playing in Europe and the European style of play, is when a player does get hit, he has a tendency to take the dive. There's the look right there at Sacco, but I can't really see that being a penalty.
Looked like a pretty good check.
I thought it was a pretty nice play, but what happens a lot of times when you're playing in the European atmosphere, European officials, is they tend to call penalties from the physical standpoint in terms of the fact if it's a good solid check, for some reason they always think it's a penalty.
Well, now the Norwegians survived being a man short. They will have a man advantage. And a face-off to the right of John Casey. Joel Otto and Kip Miller up front to kill the penalty to start it for the U.S.
I think, Teddy, what the United States wants to do here is become aggressive, forecheck, force the play, do not give the Norwegians a chance to set up. They don't handle the puck that well. You want to force the issue, not give them time to just look for players and have free roam out there. You want to push them, force them to move the puck all around because they do not handle the puck real well.
Well, Casey really played that nicely behind his net.
Well, one of the advantages of having a goaltender like Casey who does handle the puck well in a European arena is that he's going to be handling the puck a lot, and he's going to be able to take control and dump the puck out of the zone on his own rather than using the defenseman to do that. Plus, he becomes another offensive weapon.
That puck flipped up and out of play. So they'll bring it back again into the United States zone. The U.S. leading Norway 1-0.
Very much typical U.S.-Norway or U.S.-European type of a game. You are not going to see many penalties. You're not going to see many stoppages in play. It's going to be a puck control type of a game. The type of game that Norway is very good at, the United States is not that good at, and one of the reasons the U.S. doesn't have that skill is because they have not been able to play together that often. This Norwegian team, they play together for a whole year to get ready for these games.
That time can be confusing. The penalty time on your left was time remaining. In the middle, you saw elapsed time for the period, as Joel Otto just got ridden off the play trying to break in. Now Norway trying to regroup for another rush on this power play, their first of the game. There's Casey out again. Well, he is active. This is IIHF with the puck. IIHF gets it back, and he scores! A shot somehow gets through. I don't think John Casey ever saw that.
It looked like it might have been deflected in front. The puck was a low shot that seemed to get up over the shoulder of John Casey. Here's another look at it right here. See the shot coming from number 10. I'm not sure if it caught a piece of someone's skate. It might have hit Jimmy Johnson, who was standing in front of the goal. Nevertheless, the score is now 1-1. Here's a look at what Casey had seen, or not had seen. Here's the shot. You know, it's still from that angle. I don't know if it hit Jimmy Johnson's skate and was deflected above, or even if it got a piece of skate, Casey's skate, and was deflected at top.
The key thing you saw from that last replay, though, was that Casey didn't get a good look at it.
No, not at all.
Johnson's got to move that man out.
Exactly. Jimmy's got to get his stick up and give Casey, and move him out and give Casey a clear shot at seeing the puck. Obviously, from that angle, you can see that he did not see the whole puck.
So Hoff gets the goal for Norway at 9:13 of the first period. A power play goal, and we're tied at 1.
Now the game goes back into the Norwegians' hands in terms of tempo and momentum. This is a game that they would just like to hang in there with the United States, maybe go into that third period, down a goal, up a goal, whatever. They cannot get in, as we've mentioned before, a shootout. They tried it the last time, and the United States beat them by a 9-4 score.
The icing there was waved off, and now Norway sends it all the way down. And as Daniel Kes... This is icing on Norway. It's the first period. The United States and Norway tied at 1.
Check out Sports Channel America in June. Saturday Night Sizzle with the WBL Game of the Week. On U.S. Olympic Showcase, see America's best hope for gymnastics gold, plus volleyball versus France, Italy, and Brazil. Live and exclusive NASCAR action, World of International Sports, the Pro Boxing Tour, and the premiere of IWA Pro Wrestling. All that and more in...
Championship. The United States riding a 4-game winning streak. They're trying to beat Norway for the second time in this championship. Starting to get a little more physical as the game, as this first period progresses, but still it's amazing to watch how much room, especially the United States players, have to operate in this game, Mike.
It is totally a different game, Ted. You know, you watch the NHL games, you watch college hockey. There is no room to move. Players are on top of you constantly. There's no room to be creative, is what I would like to say. But in the big ice surface, you have that creativity. You have that room to kind of make some plays. It's a whole different game. The clock becomes part of the game. It's like soccer. It's very much like soccer in terms of the fact that it's puck control. You're not going to get that many real good scoring opportunities, especially if you're playing against a team that has the same type of talents and abilities that you have. If you're dominating a team, obviously if you're that much better of a team, then you're going to get a lot of scoring chances because of the big ice surface and because of the fact that you're a better team, you'll have more room to use your skills. But normally, when two teams are equal, and if you would look at European games, it's a 3-2, 2-1, 4-3 type games. They're very close. and the clock does play a lot with the type of game.
U.S. trying to put some pressure on that to break this 1-all tie. And it's moved out to center. John Fritchie, Joe Sacco on the ice up front, along with Tommy O'Regan for the Americans. Is a line with a lot of international hockey experience.
Well, Tommy O'Regan has had a great career over in Europe. Played at Boston University, played in the Pittsburgh Penguin organization, then went over to Berlin, Germany, and has done very, very well over there, which a lot of Americans and Canadian players have found. They go over to Europe, they enjoy not only the lifestyle, but they enjoy the brand of hockey that's played over there, which is very much a freestyle type of a game.
Boy, a long shot in that was popped right up in front by Steve Allman, the goaltender for Norway. 1-1 game about midway through the first period. There's a break in on the right side, and Casey comes sliding out to make a nice block on the backhand attempt. Now a shot goes fired over the net. That one blasted in by Stephen Foyne. There's another one right on that Casey makes a save.
Well, Norway finally mounting some type of an offensive attack. 2 good scoring chances, 2 nice saves by Casey.
John Casey, a goaltender with a reputation in the NHL of being able to stand on his head, make unbelievable saves, but then occasionally will get victimized by what is termed the soft goal. He made some good saves. A little shoving going on here as we have a break. It's 1-all in the first.
What you'll get without Sports Channel. What you'll get with Sports Channel.
On the next U.S. Olympic Showcase, check out America's best hope for Olympic gold in the 90s in the U.S. Gymnastics Challenge. Plus, the USA versus the Soviets in wrestling.
Past the midway point of the first period at the Ice Hockey World Championship. The United States and Norway are tied at 1. Jeff Norton scoring the goal for the Americans at 3:44 of this opening period. And Norway beginning to swing a little bit of the play at John Casey.
Well, I think it's been a fact that Norway feels maybe a little more confident. They feel that they might be able to generate some offensive play if they force the issue a little.
Here's Neil Broughton with a drop to Norton. Loose puck, and it's held by Steve Allman in the goal for Norway.
You can just tell the difference in the European style of play. There it is, a shot from the point. Goaltender makes the save, has a little trouble with the rebound, is finally able to corral it. And everybody just kind of skates away after the whistle, where if it was in the NHL, there'd be some gloves in the face, some pushing and shoving, some intimidation. Here, it's just a different brand of hockey. It's a fun game to watch. You really get to see the skills of the players, I think, in a big ice surface in a European style of play, more so than you do in the North American game.
The Norwegians are being well supported. Very vocal, colorfully dressed fans supporting Norway. Another face-off in the Norwegian, and walking right in was Broughton. It's pushed behind the net. Here's Mark Johnson throwing it back, and it splits the defenseman at the point. Jeff Norton has to chase it down back in the United States end.
U.S. having very good success so far on face-offs, and that will play a key point in the game.
And there's Ranheim with a goal. Paul Ranheim with a wrist shot puts the United States back in front 2-1.
I think Ranheim caught the goaltender by surprise a little there. Caught me by surprise. I didn't expect him to shoot it from that angle. Here's a look at Ranheim, showing good speed, goes to the outside, and boy, he just picks the short side, something that should never happen. A right-handed shot coming down the left wing. That's the last place you want him to beat you on, as you see, from a very difficult angle, not impossible angle, but a difficult angle. Beats the goaltender, and he can't believe that he let one in on the short side. Deflected off his blocker into the side of the net. Nice play by Ranheim, poor play by the goaltender. No reason to let a goal come in from that angle.
Paul Ranheim out of Edina, Minnesota, played collegiately at Wisconsin, and has been a great goal scorer in professional hockey. Puts the United States in front 2-1. Goal at 13:41. Mark Johnson and Neil Broughton get the assists. Now we're going to have a penalty here on the United States. We're going to get a penalty on Guy Gosselin. And now as the Americans touch the puck, the play is blown dead. Gosselin will go off. A Norway power play will be coming up. 2-1 USA.
Colonial Williamsburg, Monticello, Mount Vernon, Jamestown. These names mean absolutely nothing to me, but they should to you, and they're all here in Virginia, including Yorktown, where we magnificently attired British surrendered to you shabbily dressed Americans. The art of tailoring has never fully recovered.
Call for your free Virginia vacation guide.
Sports Channel America's got a Super Sunday lineup for the outdoor sportsman. At 10 a.m. Eastern, you'll have a good old time fishing Texas. At 10:30, we'll reel you in with New England Rod and Reel. At 11, get hooked on the outdoors with Tales and Trails. Then, learn the techniques and tricks of the trade from the experts on Outdoor Trails. It's a Super Sunday for the outdoor sportsman. Every Sunday, beginning at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, exclusively on Sports Channel America.
Here's a look at the penalty on Guy Gosselin, obviously tripping. Oh, no, I didn't do that. Yes, you did. Sorry. Guy Gosselin, 2 minutes for tripping. U.S. leading by a score of 2-1. Going to give the Norwegians a chance to get back in this hockey game.
How proficient are the international players at the Bill Barber School of Diving?
Very good. It's the most frustrating thing that happens when you're playing against the Europeans. Yeah, two things they tend to do. One is to dive, and two is when you hit them with a good solid check, they have a tendency to yell and kind of cry a little. And when that happens, if the referee does not see the initial hit, he hears the scream, sees the player on the ice, therefore comes to the conclusion that it was an illegal check and you get a penalty, and that frustrates you to no end.
We'll see our second look now at Norway's power play. They scored. Hoff, number 10, got the goal on their first power play try early in the period.
Well, Norwegians setting up at what I like to call an umbrella. They try to put one man in the middle, two wingers off to the top of the face-off circle, two men in front of the net, and that middle man either is going to shoot the puck from the middle to try to get a deflection or make a one-time pass to someone off the top of the face-off circle where he can shoot.
You know, Danton Cole with great speed. Boy, he's been very impressive during this championship. Number 7, he's out there doing some good forechecking, and now the puck is taken away by Sacco, and a big kick save by Allman.
Oh, nice offensive opportunity for the United States in a penalty-killing situation. Joe Sacco with a good chance. Nice save by the goaltender.
Now Norway trying to start another rush. Kip Miller, number 9, is out for the Americans. He was the nation's premier collegiate player this past year, winner of the Hobie Baker Award.
Here's that umbrella again. Eventually look for them to try to get the puck back to that middle man right there. That defenseman is going to take the shot. They have two men in front of the net looking for the deflection. Actually, I enjoy this power play a lot, but in a smaller arena like we might have in Boston or Buffalo or Chicago, it's a very difficult power play to have. You need some room out there, and that's one of the reasons why it's so successful over in a big ice surface.
Less now than 20 seconds on the power play for Norway.
You can just see the room that they have out there to be able to move the puck. And eventually they want to get the puck back to that man in the middle.
Now they're running out of time. Flipped right on. Oh, and Casey just got a piece of that. And then a man gets upended, and I believe we're going to get we're going to get a penalty on John Casey for tripping in the goal crease. 2-1 United States.
Did you hear about it? A big new baseball video that covers all of the 1980s. It's got everything.
Hi, I'm Jack Brickhouse, and I've just seen one of the best baseball videos ever produced. Baseball in the 80s, new from the Sporting News. An entire decade of headline-making, record-breaking baseball action and excitement. Free with your paid subscription to the Sporting News, America's most authoritative, most complete sports weekly, bringing fans unbeatable baseball coverage for over 100 years. Call now to have the sporting news delivered right to your mailbox every week at a big 46% saving off the cover price. Plus this full-hour video cassette of the decade, Baseball in the 80s, yours free.
Call 1-800-238-3100. Get your free video with 25 issues of the sporting news for 3 payments of just $9.96. Save 46% off the cover price. Call now 1-800-238-3100. That's 1-800-238-3100.
Here's a look at some of the good action in front. The puck goes just wide of John Casey, and there you see Casey with his penalty, and that was an obvious one. Another look at it. Puck goes wide of the net, and watch Casey's stick. Sorry, you're not supposed to come by me. See you later. Good call by the official.
Especially when he's only 6 feet away from the play. Your goaltender's not going to get away with that one.
No, that was pretty obvious, John. You're not allowed to trip somebody.
That's just instinct, though, isn't it? A goalie just hates seeing somebody in there.
Well, yeah, your first reaction is he's going to try to run me or something, you know, and he protects himself, but that was not a good protection in terms of he wasn't covering his face or anything. He was just out there to get somebody.
Now the United States players trying to get some instructions.
Why does it look like the game is outdoors?
Yeah, you know, isn't that right? The people are enjoying it, those that are there in Bern, Switzerland. Now Guy Gosselin is back on for the United States, so they are again 1 man short, but in essence Norway with a 4-minute power play.
Again, look for Norway to try to get the puck back to that middle man. Eventually they want to move it to the middle and try to get a shot on that, hope for a deflection.
Joe Olato intercepting the pass, and the United States sending it back down.
What the United States wants to do in that situation is try to keep the puck obviously away from the middleman, force the player to keep the puck deep, force the Norwegians to keep the puck along the boards or behind the net. They do not want to see the puck go back to that middle defenseman. There's a semi-dive right there.
Yeah, that was a weak one.
Yeah, not a good one. Didn't get a penalty call.
Jim Johnson. There comes a point, too, when you've got to stop diving and start playing. You've already had 2 penalties in a row here.
Exactly, yes. And they're not going to call one right here. It has to be a blatant call, a blatant penalty in order for Norway to get another power.
Boy, great puck control here by the Americans, killing this penalty, and finally Chris Dahlquist sends it all the way down.
That's another advantage that you have in a big ice surface. If you do get control of the puck when you're killing a penalty, you have a lot of room to be able to move the puck and work on that clock.
Eric Christensen now holding it for Norway.
United States taking away that pass to the middle.
Now it's chipped on wide of Casey. He gives to Brown on the far side, and Greg Brown is able to clear the zone. So the penalty winding down now in the closing seconds, and the United States is going to survive successive penalties. And the Americans are back to full strength. Good penalty killing job. About 8 or 9 different men had to chip in on that one. There's a shot right on, and Casey holds it.
That's a nice save by John Casey. He had some traffic in front of him. It looked like he didn't really see the shot that well. He got down low, was able to pick it up, made the save, and covered up the rebound. If you're watching this game and have a funny feeling that the game might be outdoors, there is a large section of this arena that is all glass, and the sunlight does come in from outside. As you can see, the U.S. bench and charting shots. That's Ben Smith, the assistant coach, former Boston University coach, or current Boston University coach, former 1988 U.S. Olympic assistant coach. Ben very well involved with the U.S. Hockey Association, and over the years has been involved with the Olympic teams, national teams, as well as our festival that is held each year.
Now the Americans trying to get some offense going. They've been playing defense for the last 4 minutes. A 2-1 lead for the U.S. on goals by Jeff Norton and Paul Ranheim. Now wheeling, and there's a backhander flipped on by Madonna that was blocked in front. Shot out to center where Guy Gosselin cannot come up with it, and here comes Norway breaking back, and a good poke check.
playing a game like this, Ted, it's very much a game that it's almost like pond hockey. You have so much room out there, and players are just free to come and go as they please.
Oh, Daniel Kesmer without a stick made a glove swipe to knock a loose puck out of the crease.
That was a smart play by Kesmer. Puck was lying there. He did not have a stick, and he made a nice play by sweeping it into the corner with his glove.
Winding down now in the first period, 2-1, the United States leading.
And it's an opportunity for the United States now just to play with the clock. No reason to rush to force the issue. They have a 1-goal lead. Let's get out of the period with that lead.
In the final minute, Jim Johnson flipping it ahead. And Norway intercepts, and back they come. Norway has not really had any good chances at even strength. Their best chances have been with the man advantage. And the period comes to an end. So the United States, Jeff Norton and Paul Ranheim lead Norway 2-1 at the end of one period.
Coming.
In Bern, Switzerland, the Ice Hockey World Championship on Sports Channel America. With Mike Eruzione, Ted Robinson. After one period, the United States leading Norway 2-1. The United States getting a goal by Ranheim to break the tie.
Well, you know, when you look at the period, there were not a real lot of good goal-scoring opportunities for either team. Here's the goal that was scored by Jeff Norton. He looks like he's going to pass the puck, fakes the pass, and beats Steve Allman on the glove side just underneath his pads. Nice play by Norton. Here's the goal by Norway. Geir Hoff takes the shot, and it looks like it's either deflected by Johnson in front, or if it got a piece of Casey's pad and was deflected up into the top corner. That made the score 1-1. And here's some great speed by Paul Ranheim. He takes the puck wide, and from a very difficult angle, and especially being a right-handed shot, beats Steve Allman. Here's another look at it. This is a goal that Allman should not let in. Look at the angle. Well off the face-off dot. Beats him on the short side. Allman looking up into the sky saying, I cannot believe I let that one in.
Boy, the Norwegian fans really are rabid. Look at that. You ever go to a game like that?
Absolutely not. Especially in Norway.
All right, we're underway. Period 2. 2-1, the United States leading. United States in white, Norway in the red-based multicolored jerseys.
Again, the game going just the way Norway would like it, obviously outside of the fact that they're down a goal, but they do not want to get into the shootout with the United States. They do not have the offensive weapons that Team USA has. They want to keep the game close to the vest, hang in there. When they do get a good scoring opportunity, hope they're able to capitalize.
Here's a flip. Boy, and Allman back pedals. He gets a piece of the puck, and it looked like it hit the side of the net on that flip right on by Kevin Stevens.
Steve Allman really not sure of himself, and especially on the shots off the angle. Seems like he's not really sure of where he is in the goal. There's the fake of the shot. Now watch Allman. He's moving an awful lot. He is totally out of position. Gets himself caught up with his own feet. Falls down and is able to fall on the puck. But he really got himself tied up. And that's the reason he fell down. He's really off the angle quite a bit, and he's moving too much in the net.
So the face-off now in the Norway zone. A blast from the point goes wide from Greg Brown's stick. How much pressure does Norway need to put on Mike as far as just stopping the United States from having the wheeling, freedom in center ice, abilities to make the passes?
Well, I think what Norway has to do is exactly what they're doing right now. Keep the game at a pace that they enjoy and they feel comfortable with. It hasn't been hell-bent for leather type of a pace. It's been very relaxed and, if anything, a controlled pace. That's what Norway wants to do, is keep the game at a pace and a speed that they can handle. If the game gets too wide open, they do not have the strength or the speed to compete with the United States.
Now Casey leaves it for Greg Brown behind his net. Brown paired with Jeff Norton. Now Neil Broughton in to take it. He tries to feed Ranheim, but that was broken up. This could be a very explosive line for the U.S., but here's a quick blast by Norway, and John Casey with a save right on the shot by Anderson.
I never saw you hit so well. I'm here in 3, you're here in 1. Ah, Bill.
Yeah, how'd you do, Jack?
In 3, out in 3. What are you doing? You're playing your best golf, and every time I look up, you're staring at TV. Saturday cartoons make you so good?
It's a special Golf Digest instructional video. The Golf Digest schools pulled 10 instant golf lessons from their 10 cassette collection.
Graphics, instruction, real professional advice, 10 instant lessons?
It's a half hour of the best stuff for a golfer.
It's priceless.
It's free.
Free?
With my subscription to Golf Digest.
Get a full year of Golf Digest for $19.77. Call 800-841-0300 now and get our free half-hour instructional video with your paid subscription. Call 800-841-0300 now.
We don't know as much about hockey in Norway since there are no Norwegians who play professionally, but these fans, Mike, are into this.
I'll tell you, Ted, I've played in Norway. I remember the first time I played there, I was just out of high school, and they start the chants of Norway, 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 and they get going. It's a big sport in their country. Outside of ski jumping and skiing, hockey is something that they're very, very competitive with and competitive in. They love to play that sport over there, and I'm telling you, you can take this to the bank. In a few years, you're going to be hearing more and more about the country of Norway and their hockey players.
Would the Albertville Olympics be too soon to expect that?
Yes.
Here's a push right on the net, and a rebound is knocked in. The United States makes it 3-1 on a rush up the ice, and the goal is poked in.
Here's a look at the goal. One thing that is very typical of European goaltenders is they do not handle the puck well. Now, that's twice that we've seen Steve Allman try to go down and poke check the puck. Both times he's tried, both times he's made a mistake, and a goal is scored. Watch Allman right here try to poke check the puck. No reason to do that. His man has the player covered, and it just gets off his pad for the original save, but now he's totally out of position. He has no control. Look at his stick. It's behind him, and that's where the goal is scored by Kevin Stevens.
A strong effort by Joel Otto to bring the puck right in on the net, and Stevens follows up for the score.
Well, that goes with the territory I was telling you, that Norway doesn't have the strength or the speed to compete with Team USA. But again, it was a mental lapse, I think, by Steve Allman. There's really no reason for him to try to poke check the puck there. His player has Otto. He's covered okay. By him poke checking the puck caused him to not have control of not only of the puck itself, but he didn't have any control of his body. When the save was finally made and the rebound came back, and Allman was totally out of position.
Boy, and the new goaltender, Jim Martinson, is tested right away with a blast by Broughton that was wide. So George Kingston behind the Norway bench saw just what you saw. And he's changed goaltenders here as a shot by Brown was knocked down in front.
Well, what Martinson gives the Norwegians is some experience. He's a former national team player as well as a former Olympic goaltender.
There's one that's caught on the netting behind John Casey, but finally knocked free. So Kevin Stevens with the goal at 3:02 of this second period. Joel Otto the assist, and the United States leading 3-1. Brandheim with a pass at center that was knocked down, and Norway brings it back in offside. So we're in the second period. The USA 3, Norway 1.
He's unstoppable.
If I get the ball, you're at mercy of whatever I want to do.
Come fly with me, the ultimate video on the most exciting athlete in the world today. Every sports fan will want to own the hottest of sports videos, Michael Jordan Come Fly With Me. Witness his aerial onslaught as he takes on the rest of the NBA. To get your copy of Come Fly With Me, call 1-800-238-3100 today.
Turn on Sports Channel America for exciting sports. Follow America's top amateur athletes on the USOC Olympic Sports Series. Hoops fans won't miss a beat with our exclusive national coverage of the World Basketball League. We'll canvas the world of sports and the world at large on World of International Sports. Your weekends are piston-powered with fast-paced NASCAR action and Monday night sizzle with a pro boxing tour. Turn on Sports Channel America for exciting sports.
A nice lift for the United States with the goal by Stevens here early in the period, pushing Norway on the defensive a bit, forcing a change in the nets.
Well, that's going to be difficult for Norway. As we said earlier, they do not want to get themselves behind by too much because they don't have the offense to be able to compete with this USA team.
And that was not a good sign either. Joel Otto walking right in on Martinson, who withstood it. Here's Mark Johnson. And the United States with some good pressure on Martinson, but he holds up.
Almost looks like the United States is on a power play. They have so much room to be able to move the puck. Norway not forcing the issue at all.
Jeff Norton back in his own end now for Team USA. And wheeling up, here's Mike Modano of the Minnesota North Stars. That one might have been wide, but Martinson gloved it and holds on.
Well, that's a nice play by Martinson. He has experience, as I mentioned. He's played in the Olympic team. He's played on their national team. He has a sense of when the flow is starting to go the other way. When that happens, that's a good time for the goaltenders. You can see in the replay, make the save, get a whistle, let's regroup, let's get a line change out there, let's stop the flow of momentum.
Tim Taylor behind the United States bench.
Every time we've seen Tim, he's been looking down. I wonder if he watches the game at all.
You watch Mike Modano play for this U.S. team, and you think what a lift it would have been had Pat LaFontaine not suffered a concussion during the Stanley Cup playoffs. He might well be playing for Team USA. Now we're going to get another penalty whistled here. And Norway is going to get whistled here for a penalty that will put the United States back on a power play.
Oh, that's very much a strange type of penalty. It really happens away from the play. If anything, it looks like the United States is going to get a penalty for holding. Boy, I'll tell you, talk about a different set of officials versus the National Hockey League officials, even college officials versus the European officials. I don't see where that penalty was really that blatant in order to give Norway a power play.
Well, Daniel Kesmer didn't understand it either. But the Lake Superior State defenseman, drafted by the Minnesota North Stars, is out for holding. So Norway with a power play now. They had a power play goal in the first period as the drive right on is held by Casey.
And you can see what Norway's trying to do. They're trying to get a shot from the point, have a player in front of the net, try to get it deflected in. They really don't have the strength to have a player totally stand in front. I think the U.S., as I mentioned earlier, is a lot stronger of a team. And it's more of a by chance. You get the shot from the point, and hopefully you get a guy cutting in front to get a deflection. As you can see, I was talking about the sun. That is the sun end of the arena, something that you do not see, you know, in this part of the country. But when the puck goes back to the point, you can see the shadows from the sun coming through. So it's a beautiful day here in Switzerland.
Well, that is something. I mean, we are so unaccustomed to that. It means the goaltender has got to put on some eye black, kind of like an outfielder on a sunny day in baseball.
Exactly. You know, your football players have to return punts. He has to return the puck.
There's Lovedahl in deep. Trying to throw it all the way across the zone, and it's deflected out to center by Danton Cole,
who has played extremely well throughout the tournament.
Oh, there's a bullet by Martinson, who makes the stop. 3-1 USA.
Sports Channel has a great lineup coming your way in June, which includes our continuing soccer coverage of the Boston Bolts regular season home games. Then, the high school stars of the future show their talents as we present live coverage of the Boston Shootout basketball tournament and exciting gridiron action with the 12th annual Shriners High School Football Classic. And don't miss our coverage of the 1990 NBA Draft live from the Celtics Draft headquarters. That's just some of the action coming your way in June on Sports Channel.
How much of what George Kingston is saying do these guys understand? Do they understand quick, quick, quick?
They had better.
There's a break-in for Norway, and a shot turned away by Casey, and another great save by John Casey on the follow-up shot, and those are the best chances for Norway in the game.
Well, they do understand quick, 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 because they got rid of the puck awfully quick to get it out of the zone. And here's a nice shot, nice save by Casey. See, Casey stays on his feet, makes a nice pad save, but the rebound comes right back out. And again, Casey almost caught out of position. Oh, does a real nice job of getting control of himself, stopping, coming back the other way, and making a nice save. You can see Casey a little out of control, was able to get himself back into position in order to make the second save.
So Norway now putting the pressure on during their man advantage.
Again, it'll be interesting to see if Norway tries to change that power play where the U.S. is trying to take that pass away to the middle defenseman. You see they're trying to work the puck in deep. U.S. doing a real nice job, not enabling him to walk out from the corner.
Right in front, Casey goes down, puck comes to the near side, and then it's backhanded but not out by Greg Brown. There's a crank and a glove save by Casey.
Oh, just a nice save by John Casey. U.S. does a nice job of clearing out in front. That's all a goaltender wants. He wants to be able to see the shooter, see the shot, make the save. Casey able to do that. Here's another look at the replay. U.S. has nobody in front of the goal to block Casey. Neither does Norway, and that's because the U.S. does a nice job of clearing out. Casey sees the shooter, sees the shot, makes a nice save.
So Norway trying to get back within one. 9 minutes elapsed in the period. 21 seconds remain on Kesmer's penalty.
These are opportunities that Norwegians cannot let go by the wayside. They are not going to get that many scoring opportunities throughout the game because they don't have the talent that the U.S. has. When they do have that power play, when they do have their scoring opportunities, they have to really capitalize.
That's the only thing that has to concern the Americans is the official right now, the way he's referee, the way he's determining what constitutes a penalty. You'd have to be a little concerned.
It's really difficult for the U.S. players because they do not have this type of officiating during their regular seasons. European officials tend to call things a lot tighter than they would, say, in the North American game. And it's difficult to judge and get a feeling of that official and what he's going to allow and what he's not going to allow.
And now you can see Daniel Kesmer's penalty time elapsing, so the Americans have survived another Norwegian power play. That's thrown in on the crease. Casey steering it away. Very active goalie, good presence of mind where the puck is.
It's such an advantage to have a goaltender that has the skills of puck control. He's such an offensive player that you can use to your advantage as far as getting the puck out of the zone and setting up that transition from defense to offense.
Right into the goal crease into Martinson is Otto, and we may have a penalty on Norway. 3-1 USA.
Catch the excitement of professional outdoor soccer action with the Boston Bolts of the American Professional Soccer League. Don't miss the Bolts as they host the Washington Diplomats on Saturday, June 2nd, beginning at 7 p.m. from Boston University's Nickerson Field. Order your tickets now by calling 617-237-7373. Catch the soccer fever with the Boston Bolts.
Well, Team USA with an opportunity now on the power play. As you can see, interference call on Stephen Foy on Joel Otto in front. Could have been a trip, could have been interference. Either way, he's going to get 2 minutes in the sin bin. So the United States, leading by a score of 3-1, has an opportunity on the power play to try to go ahead 4-1.
That was a penalty in any language.
Yeah, exactly. I think he knows that also. He can get a little sun while he's sitting at that end of the arena.
Joel Otto out there with Kevin Stevens and Mike Modano and Mark Johnson for the United States on the power play. Here's Jeff Norton at the point.
Boy, Jeff Norton has really become a great player. I remember watching him in the '88 Olympic Games. He's just going to get better and better as time goes on. He had a good year this year with the New York Islanders. He's just starting to come into his own.
Now another rush for Team USA. Here's Otto on the right. Otto dumping it down for Modano. Now a tap. Oh, good puck movement, and the shot by Modano hit the side of the net.
Again, you want to see the difference in contrasting styles of killing penalties. The Norwegians more or less letting the United States move the puck, where the United States is forcing the Norwegians.
Last went wide by Norway. So they have killed off the first minute of the United States power play. We've had more power play time through the first half of this game than anyone would have expected.
And normally, exactly, you do not see that. Normally, it's just a game that is played up and down, and the officials just kind of let players play. And because of the size of the arena, you do not see that much body checking, so therefore you don't have that many type of calls. But you do get a lot of holding, hooking, interference penalties.
Now Stevens sending it in deep for the United States. Americans having trouble getting anything going here. And Kip Miller whiffed on a pass.
Norwegians is playing a real tight box.
Greg Brown with it up top. See Stevens there in the slot. And the penalty time just about elapsed. Oh, good feed in front. And now the shot in is blocked before it gets to Martinson. One good setup in front, but no shot came out of it. Here's O'Regan sending it in deep, right into Stevens, and the shot is blocked by Martinson. Then it's hit with a high stick to stop play. So Norway survives the power play, and it stays 3-1 USA.
Here's a look at some of the action. United States on a quick spin around there. You can see why the whistle was blown. A high sticking call. Kevin Stevens got the stick up above as Martinson was trying to make the glove save. Another look at it. There's Stevens on the wraparound, the shot, the save. Here comes the rebound. Oh, sorry, can't do that. That was a high fastball, Kevin. Look at some of the sunshine. They need lotion, probably. Okay? You need a little suntan lotion there.
I think what right now what the United States needs is some interpretation. That's what Jimmy Johnson's trying to get, is to the judgments of Yuri Lipa, the referee from Czechoslovakia. And this faceoff comes all the way back into the United States end.
Have you ever seen glass that clean?
Oh,
looks like there is absolutely there, right? No glass. That's Windex or something, whatever cleans. I got to get that from my house.
That's also new glass, isn't it?
Yeah. New arena.
All right, here's the rush by Ranheim. And he throws it on with a save by Martinson. I just can't get over the sun. That's just Casey there with a little bump with the Norway player. Play stops. It is 3-1 USA.
Learn pool from the best. Never before have these 16 world champion players been gathered at one time to teach you the art of pool. Learn all the shots from the best players in the world. Breaks, banks, defense, positions, angles, even the masse. 16 pool wizards let you in on their brand of magic. World champion, top-ranked players like #1 in the world Mike Siegel, Jimmy King James Rempe, Laurie John Jones, Pretty Boy Floyd Mattia, Ava Mattia, and the rest of the best. The most amazing video on pool ever available. You'll learn to shoot like the pros. A once-in-a-lifetime chance to find out what the champs have known for years. Play pool like you've never played before.
To order your video of Learn from the Best, call 1-800-238-3100. That's 1-800-238-3100. Or send $24.95 plus $3 shipping and handling to Learn from the Best. P.O. Box 4670, Omaha, Nebraska 68104. Visa, MasterCard, and American Express accepted. So order now. Call 1-800-238-3100.
With Mike Rusioni, Ted Robinson, the United States trying to make it 5 in a row at the Ice Hockey World Championship. And they're leading Norway 3-1.
And they're very much right now at this point in control of the game. As you can see by the action, Norway really has not had the scoring opportunities, nor even the control of the puck that the United States had, as they almost scored a good shot right there. Good chance.
The U.S. team does seem quicker to the mark, quicker to the puck, quicker to the spot.
They're a much better team, and you know, that's something that benefits the U.S. in terms of the fact that they have that skill, they have that talent, they have the depth. You know, Norway doesn't have the depth that the United States has. I think we're going to have a power play now coming up for Norway. Looked like an official is going to call penalty on Team USA.
Yeah, we're going to get another one as the Norwegians try to encourage each other. In Norway, do you understand any of that?
Yeah, he said, good play. We have a power play, let's get a goal. Here's a look at what I believe is going to be the penalty on Kip Miller. Yeah, I would say that's a pretty good penalty, Kip. Just don't look and say, oh, no, not me. Yes, sorry, Kip. That's holding. It looks like he had a rope around him.
13:37, the time of the penalty to Miller. The #1 collegiate hockey player in the United States this past season.
And a very talented and gifted kid. 2 brothers playing in the National Hockey League. Comes from a great hockey family. Possibly a candidate for the 1992 Olympic team.
So Norway with another chance, but they're going to have to find some way to mount a consistent power play here. They had 4 consecutive minutes with a man advantage late in the first period and really didn't get a good shot at John Casey. Greg Brown and Jeff Norton have done a good job on the penalty killing defense unit tonight for the United States.
And right there is a good example of the strength that Team USA has over the Norwegians. They're able to bounce them not only off the puck, but they're controlling their sticks, not giving Norway any chance of even maintaining any type of puck control. As we're going to have a penalty right here.
Going to even it back up.
For having too long of a ponytail.
Let's see if we can spot this infraction.
Boy, there's no call right now. You can see the official off to the right. Boy, there's the call, and that is something you'll never see in the National Hockey League. Is he was called for holding the stick of Greg Brown.
And Paul Ranheim of the United States also receives a penalty. So right now Norway is going to have a 4-on-3 skater advantage. Strange period. A lot of whistles.
Yeah, that was a penalty on Ranheim that was away from the play. But nevertheless, Norway with a 4-on-3 and in a big surface like this has a lot of room to be able to move that puck around.
And just look look at the incredible amounts of room you have to maneuver. Now Miller's penalty is over, so it's back to 4-on-4.
This is where it's a big advantage for Team USA because of the team speed that they have over the Norwegians. Two less players out on the ice, and still a little more room for them to be able to showcase that speed, use their strength to their advantage.
Spun around is Christensen. Now here's a wraparound try, then the backhander by Levdahl is flipped just wide of John Casey.
Team USA a little lazy in their defensive zone.
Here's a 2-on-1 with Cole and Miller. And boy, Miller just standing there waiting for the pass, and he could not get it over the fallen goaltender.
Boy, you talk about waiting, having a cigarette and a cup of coffee. Kip Miller had plenty of time there. He was drawing up the play as if you would have had a little chart and a diagram.
Still a 3-1 lead for Team USA, so despite all the penalties in this second period, the score hasn't changed. We're late in period 2, 3-1 USA.
Call now to have the sporting news delivered right to your mailbox every week at a big 46% saving off the cover price. Plus this full hour video cassette of the decade, baseball in the 80s. They're all here, all yours, all free.
Call 1-800-238-3100. Get your free video with 25 issues of the sporting news for 3 payments of just $9.96. Call now, 1-800-238-3100. That's 1-800-238-3100.
Hello. Before I visited your lovely Virginia, I was told, don't miss the Blue Ridge Mountains. Well, here they are. And they are splendid indeed. And excellent, I'm told, for camping and fishing. Here I might mention the stunning view, therefore, of the Shenandoah Valley below.
Call for your free Virginia vacation guide.
Oh, John Casey says, yeah, I can play hockey, too.
Well, it gets boring just sitting in the goal there. Hey, here, nice play. No, he's congratulating him. Nice play. See, and he turns around and says, thank you for the compliment.
Well, I don't blame Hoff for getting a little upset. That second one, that's not a manly thing to do.
No, the first one was a nice play. Casey's just trying to tell him, look, this is my territory. Don't get close to me. And the second was just to reiterate the fact that he said to him earlier, this is my territory. Don't get too close to me. Gets John involved in the game.
Here's the last chance for Norway with their man advantage. And Casey goes up to spear. Oh, no, I guess he didn't. That flipped up over the glass and out of play.
That was a nice play by Casey. I thought he had it.
How do the international players, in a situation like this where they don't speak the same language, get their points across to each other? I mean, you can't really verbally let a guy know.
They speak the international language. They know the right...
There are some universal words?
There are universal words that they do know. And it was amazing because it was the first time, as I was telling you, I was in high school, came over to Europe and played in Norway. Must be a baseball game. He's listening to the baseball game. But that was the first thing that kind of surprised me, was that the universal language does very much exist.
Final 3 minutes of period 2. USA leading Norway 3-1. The only goal in this period scored early by Kevin Stevens. And as you hear the familiar refrain of USA complete, that means the United States back to full strength. And as Jeff Norton goes back to touch the puck, Norway is whistled for icing.
Again, a look at Jeff Norton. I talked about him earlier. Really impressed not only with the way he's played this season, but he took a severe check in the playoff game against the New York Rangers. Had a mild concussion. Kind of impressed with the fact that despite that, and that was only last week, he's able to come back and play in the World Championship. Shows the type of player that Jeff Norton is.
Now the United States down in Norway's end, and here is Neil Broughton putting it right in front for Martinson. But we have a whistle and another penalty coming up.
I think this is going to go against the Norwegians. Lars Bursing got his stick up just a little too high, and that's something the Norwegians definitely do not want to have happen, to give the United States, a team that is better than they are, another scoring opportunity, and that's what they're going to have on this power play. There's a nice move by Brotz. Neil Broughton spins away, tries to speed across the crease, and you know, actually, you watch the replay, you can't really see where Bursing gets his stick up in the air in order for that high sticking penalty, but again, different type of officiating. Let's see the penalty.
Penalty was on the spin move that Broughton made away from him in the corner. That's when the penalty was.
Boy, that's a good break for Team USA, because I did not see a penalty there.
Here's Norton feeding it on the doorstep for Mark Johnson, and it's broken up by Norway. So it is Mike Modano with it now for Team USA. The brilliant rookie from the Minnesota North Stars across.
A little patience, that's what Team USA wants to have in this power play. Norway's letting them set up. Let's just find an open man. It's not so much the player with the puck, it's the people away from the puck that have to get themselves free, especially if Norway's going to let USA stand around and move the puck.
There's Norton throwing it in through the traffic, deflected wide of the net. And the Americans work along the boards. Neil Broughton is there, along with Otto. It's sent all the way across now to Norton. He has Broughton back at the point. Now Norton throws it in front, deflected high to Modano.
This is when somebody has to break to an opening. Find an open area and get to it.
Now it caroms off the dasher boards and is held by Martinson.
Must have dropped a penny or something.
Lars Bergseng.
Or still trying to find out why he got called for high sticking. Yeah, he can't play.
Famous line from the old movie Slapshot. Do guys sit in the penalty box and feel shame?
No, I never sat in the penalty box that often. I just, when it was the fact that I was in there, you're kind of nervous saying, oh, I hope they don't score because it'll be my fault. If we lose the game, they'll blame me.
Maybe that's why they're looking down.
Yeah, nobody wants to see them. Coach, don't look at me.
That's
You'll
right.
yell at me.
Maybe you'll forget that I'm there. Now here's Jim Johnson sending one in. It caroms off wildly, and Kip Miller's shot is blocked in front.
There's really no room for Kip Miller to try to find an opening there.
Johnson right on, and Martinson with a save. Earlier in this championship, we saw very lively dasher boards play a role in a couple of goals, and it almost helped the Americans there.
Well, it was a good opportunity. The puck comes back to Jimmy Johnson, and he makes a nice shot, but nobody in front of the net for a deflection. Martinson was able to see the shot and made the save. And you were talking about the Norwegian fans, all not only dressed in white, waving their country's flags, but buying some of the merchandise that is available to them here at the World Championship. And this is the premier hockey event in Europe. This is the big thing. They wait for it. They prepare for it. Even the young ones.
Next year, the World Championship will be held a bit later in the calendar year of '91. Should allow some more American professional players to participate.
As well as the Canadians and some of the Europeans that are playing in the NHL. And I think that's a good decision. I think they should try to have these championships as late as possible to enable as many of the top players in the world a chance to play.
Now the Americans with their last rush here of the period. It's Miller. Oh, a nice pass to Trailer, but Johnson had his stick tied up and he could not get it down. Now behind the net, Miller works it free. He's there with Stevens. Throws it right through the crease. Somebody whipped on it, and comes to an end. A lot of action, but just one goal, and it's 3-1 USA after 2.
Coming soon to a family near you, June 17th.
June 17th? Did I know that? June 17th?
June 17th, the day that honors the man who always stood by you. The family provider. Mom's main squeeze.
Father's Day. Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
This year, get Dad what he really wants. Sports Illustrated and the Super Duper Baseball Bloopers. Over 50 minutes of baseball blunders. Sure to be a hit with all dads.
My dad will love it.
It's free with your paid subscription to the official gift of Father's Day, Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated. That's a great idea.
Call now for a full year of SI at over 55% off the cover price.
Hi. Sports Illustrated?
Fast, easy, and just in time. Yours at the low Father's Day sale price, only $1.19 per issue.
You give him the magazine, and I'll give him the video. Okay?
This year, give Dad Sports Illustrated. After all, doesn't he deserve it?
Catch the excitement of professional outdoor soccer action with the Boston Bolts of the American Professional Soccer League. Don't miss the Bolts as they host the Washington Diplomats on Saturday, June 2nd, beginning at 7 p.m. from Boston University's Nickerson Field. Order your tickets now by calling 617-237-7373. Catch the soccer fever with the Boston Bolts.
New England, a special place with majestic scenery, incredible wildlife, and some of the best fishing action seen anywhere in the world. Hi, I'm Don Sani, and this year on Sports Channel, I'll be your host for New England Rod and Reel, New England's top outdoor program dedicated to bringing you the people, places, and fishing action that makes us all proud and fortunate to be part of this great country. Each week we'll bring to you a different little piece of New England. So whether it's a battling bluefish off the Nantucket or an acrobatic smallmouth in New Hampshire, be sure to tune in to New England Rod and Reel only on Sports Channel.
Sports Channel's coverage of the Ice Hockey World Championship continues from Bern, Switzerland. After 2 periods, the United States 3, Norway 1. And Kevin Stevens with the only goal of that second period.
Well, Team USA very much in control throughout the period. Here's a look at the goal by Stevens. There's Joel Otto, comes in wide. Steve Allman, absolutely no reason to try to poke check the puck there. His man had Otto covered. Leaves himself wide open, rebound, Kevin Stevens comes in and puts it in. And obviously, Allman at a point where he made a bad play. Here's another look at it. His man is covered, no reason to leave himself out of position. You can see his stick, look at his stick, it's behind him. Stevens comes in, picks up the rebound, which caused not only a goal for Team USA, but a change in goaltenders for Norway. As that gentleman, Jim Martinson, now in goal, replacing Steve Allman, which was caused by that goal by Kevin Stevens.
Yuri Lipa, a lot of penalties in that second period, but no power play goals. Through 2 periods, the USA with 22 shots on net to Norway's 13. And Team USA in white with the puck to start period 3. They're trying to make it 5 wins in a row.
You would look at that scene, a couple of United States fans, and think that this game could very well be being played outdoors. Looks like they're just kind of sitting on a park bench or out in a nice open field watching the game as we look at Kevin Stevens.
In our country, we always hear the terms good ice and bad ice. I would imagine in Bern and most of the international venues, the ice is good ice.
Yes, very much so.
Now back in the USA end, Otto has it taken away and a backhander on net, steered away by Casey. Again, actively trying to feed the puck up the ice. Norway doing some poke checking and finally an offside call.
What happens, Ted, in a situation like this, Team USA up by a score of 3-1, the Norwegians, as the game moves along, has to start to force the issue a little more. As they start to force the issue a little more, as they start to become more offensive, they lapse a little defensively, which will in turn enable Team USA to have some scoring opportunities themselves. So it's going to be a point in this game. As you can see, the Norwegians forechecking a little more. Look at that, 3 players in the offensive zone. Earlier in the game, you did not see that. So they are starting to force the issue a little more. They realize the clock is working against them. They're down 2 goals. They have to try to enable some type of, generate some type of an offensive flow. By doing that, Team USA could very well have some scoring opportunities.
Folks, you just saw a phantom penalty there. Kevin Stevens is sitting in the penalty box. We just saw it 2 times, and you still can't see what he did.
No apparent reason. But again, this is what the Norwegians are looking for, a chance that they can generate some type of an offensive flow.
They called Stevens for a holding, and all he can say, we're not really sure what the referee is watching. But Norway on another power play. The Americans have done a marvelous job killing penalties, particularly in period 2.
Well, they've forced the issue quite a bit, and they've been able to pressure the Norwegians, a team that does not handle the puck real well. And the U.S. is using not only that speed and strength that we talked about, but their aggressiveness also.
We watched this game progress, Mike, and Norway's players look to be much older than most of the American players.
Well, they're an experienced team. We talked about that at the start. They're in a transition period. They still have some older veteran players that have been involved with their national teams and their Olympic teams. And they're using those players kind of at the expense of the younger players. Let the younger players develop a little more. They're going to have their chance. They're going to have their say. And I think when you look at the Norwegians, not so much even next year, but the next Olympic Games, they'll be a little younger, have a little more energy, a little more youth to their advantage. And I think over the next few years, you're going to see that trend and that change in their philosophy and that change in their style of play.
Here's a rush for Joel Otto as a man short. Otto coming in, and his stick was lifted from behind by Anderson of Norway and prevented a shot from getting. Now Norway with a rush, less than a minute on the man advantage. A chance for Otto, one of the better chances the United States has had in a while. Now the net knocked off its support and play stopped.
He's unstoppable.
If I get the ball, you're at mercy of whatever I want to do.
Come fly with me, the ultimate video on the most exciting athlete in the world today. Every sports fan will want to own the hottest of sports videos, Michael Jordan Come Fly With Me. Witness his aerial onslaught as he takes on the rest of the NBA. To get your copy of Come Fly With Me, call 1-800-238-3100 today.
I'm the Golden Phoenix, and this is what you've been waiting for. You want big time wrestling? You got it. Oh, my Lord. Oh, backbreaker. IWA. Get the instant press.
Wednesdays at 9 Eastern on Sports Channel America.
Be there.
Sports Nightly is your source for up-to-the-minute scores, highlights, and features on the fast-paced world of sports. Sports Nightly, exclusively on the Sports Channel America Network.
The penalty box attendant has been busy filling those sheets out tonight.
That's the phantom penalty on Kevin Stevens.
I would imagine it's got to be frustrating. It just has to be for players. You play one way your whole life, and then you come into a situation like this where things you've done your whole life are no longer good.
And also talking to the referee or even the linesman, they don't speak the language that well, and they can turn you off very quickly by saying, I don't understand.
Norway on the power play, 3-1, the United States leading. So still, even though they've been comfortable in this game, one goal by Norway could change things.
And Norway still maintaining the power play philosophy of trying to get the puck to the middle defenseman, have 2 men in front of the net, try to get a tip in or a screen. U.S. doing a real good job of clearing out in front of the net, not enabling that man to stay there for the deflection or the tip in. And again, look for the U.S. to try to force the play a little more, not give the Norwegians an opportunity to set up on that power play.
Neil Broughton getting the puck back from the bad angle, and Martinson steers it away. Now Greg Brown at the far point. In deep, Broughton chasing, a man goes down. Puck tied up behind the Norway cage. And now it's work free. So the United States killing off yet another penalty. I think through 2+ periods, that may be the story of this game. The United States has had Norway have some chances. At least they've had power play chances to score some goals, and the USA has shut them down.
I think that's the sign that we talked about the United States just being a better team. Athletically, they're better, and I think that's showing, especially in the specialty part of the games. And Norway has had some power plays, but really still hasn't been able to generate that much offense, or if not any offense.
Here's a quick move into the U.S. zone, and John Casey calmly with the save. And back comes Norton. He had the puck, dribble in front. Kip Miller could not get it. Early third period, 3-1, the United States with the lead. Norway has succeeded in preventing this from being the shootout that the first time, the first meeting between these teams was.
Well, the flow of the game has really gone the way the Norwegians would like it to be, a low-scoring game. They've had some power play opportunities. Trouble is, they just don't have the weapons offensively to capitalize on what few chances that they have had. But if the game does get into the shootout type of a game, then they have definitely no chance to win.
And with no slight intended at the others who have been in goal for the United States, the experience of a John Casey makes them feel more confident about being able to win a low-scoring game.
There's no question that John adds that strength to them defensively as a strong, solid goaltender, experience-wise as well as ability-wise, but he also has the opportunity to become kind of another offensive player because he handles the puck so well. He can get the puck, move the puck up to their forwards, and he helps with the transition from defense to offense.
Ooh, a stick got up there and caught Kip Miller, and he wants to go after the Norwegian player. That's a shame. He saw it very clearly as the stick got up and clipped Kip Miller. You can't tell if he was cut at all.
Here's a look at the replay. Watch Kip Miller. It makes a nice move. A Norwegian player gets his stick. That's an accident. Oh.
Wow, whacked him right across the right
eye.
eye.
Yeah, just got him up in the face. My opinion of that situation was it was an accident. He was trying to get a hold of Kip Miller's stick. Reached across, didn't get any of the stick, and unfortunately got Kip in the side of the head. And Kip does and reacts the way you would expect someone to as he goes right after the player, but there will be no penalty called. Oh, there will be a penalty called. He did call the penalty. Didn't look like he had his stick up at the time.
So Eichstad will go off for the high stick, and the USA will have a power play when we come back.
It's not simply a game. It's an era of fitness, health, muscle development, body toning, beauty, and power. It's the era of Soloflex. Become a part of it. Call anytime for a free brochure.
No Englishman has willfully gone into the water since William the Conqueror, 1066. It was too cold. But here, on your magnificent Virginia beach, I couldn't restrain myself. The water is delightful. One thing, when you come to Virginia, the natives are very curious about visitors. Excuse me, have you never seen anyone swimming before?
Call for your free Virginia vacation guide.
Here's a look at the accidental, although it is a penalty. Oh, boy, I'll tell you. That hurt.
Like the thing that's very fortunate for Kip Miller is that the blade did not catch him.
Oh.
It caught him on the flat
I'm
flat
surprised
side.
Kip doesn't have his shield on. You know, college players to wear the mask, and when they adapt to the international or NHL style of play, normally they will go to the half a shield. Kip does not have that, and it would have come in use right there. And on that play, Kip Miller got a 2-minute roughing penalty, so it is not going to be a power play for Team USA. It'll be a 4-on-4 situation. Miller going off for roughing as he reacted to that high sticking.
O'Regan on the draw for the United States. Norway with it. Again, a little more ice opening up in this 4-on-4, and Joe Sacco trying to take advantage. His blast right on, and it goes wide of the net.
The game pretty much, Ted, going the flow and the way the U.S. wants it to go at this point. They're up 2 goals, and now you're just really playing with the clock.
And what the United States would love to see here, they'd love to be able to get that one more good bounce, one more goal. They'd feel like this game was theirs.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if they do get the next goal, this game will be history because the Norwegians are not able to come back from a 3-goal deficit.
On the move now. In behind the United States cage, Jeff Norton takes the puck away. Back in a one-on-one, and a quick shot by Joel Otto that just goes wide. Stevens out there also. And Otto carries it out to center, where he went down twice. And Joel Otto might be a little shaken up. We have a whistle, and I think we're going to get a penalty here against Norway for bringing down, actually it's Mike Modano.
Well, you know, it's interesting. He did not, Modano's laughing. I think he's laughing because one, when he was tripped. But the second time he got up and he fell on his own. And I was really surprised to see that call made. Look at Modano. He fell on his own. Mike looking a little like Peggy Fleming on one skate. Goes down, and he got a kick out of it himself.
Yet it is a penalty, and Stephen Foyne knows exactly where the box is. That's his 3rd minor of the game. He goes off for tripping at 6:32 of the 3rd period.
Stephen Foyne has been a favorite of ours. Not a favorite of his.
No, not of George Kingston.
Can't believe it.
3-1 the score. We have not had a goal since Kevin Stevens scored early in period 2.
Since that point of Stevens' goal, the Norwegians did change goaltenders and put in Jim Martinson and took out Steve Allman.
Good check there as Brown was brought down, bringing the puck into the Norway zone. Sends it back at the blue line, and this shot through is steered away by Martinson. Brown in deep to keep the puck. Banked off and not out. Norton sends another one on net, sticked away. And now back on the ice are Miller and Eichlin. So it's 5-on-4 man advantage for the Americans.
This is where I think the United States should make their initial and maybe final offensive rush right here. Force themselves, get this next goal, and let's just put this game out of reach. This is a big opportunity for Team USA. Real good chance to end this game by scoring a goal right here.
7.5 minutes gone in period 3. 3-1 the United States. Now Neil Broughton and Jeff Norton.
United States going to that umbrella type of a power play, try to get the puck to that middle defenseman, let him make the play, get the puck to Norton. Oh, nice setup.
Boy, the blast was sticked away by Martinson. Neil Broughton is such a great quarterback for this type of power play.
That's the kind of man you want in the middle. This particular power play, they seem to have Norton right there. But now there you see the setup.
It's off Stevens' skate. Now Stevens gets it back, and his shot was deflected to the near side. And Norton with a drive. Stevens whacks it, and a save by Martinson on the rebound. Oh, the United States with great chances.
Jim Martinson, a couple of real nice saves right there.
Now the penalty to Foyne is over, and so we're back at full strength. And an offside pass. 3-1, the United States leading in the 3rd.
Sunday, June 3rd, it's the premiere of Speedway Sunday. This live show gives you an up-to-the-minute comprehensive look at the world of motorsports and much more. Speedway Sunday premieres June 3rd, exclusively on the Sports Channel America Network. Coming in July, Sports Channel America kicks off a summer of exclusive Canadian Football League coverage. You'll see more than 20 games, including the playoffs and the Grey Cup. The CFL premieres in July, only on Sports Channel America.
Well, the United States had some good chances on that power play, but Norway survived. So it is still a 3-1 game, and I don't imagine Tim Taylor, well, he still doesn't think this one's in his pocket.
No, Tim is very, very organized. very serious, I guess I should say, coach behind the bench. Very much into the flow of the game.
Good feed ahead to Danton Cole, and his shot gloved by Martinson. Well, one thing George Kingston has found out in this game, Mike, there's a shot by Sacco, and Martinson got leveled in the crease. The shot, I believe, missed the net. I was going to say George Kingston has found out a little bit better in goal, I think, with Martinson.
Well, that's the experience that Martinson has in this type of a tournament.
There's another save. A shot by Cole. This was just not a good day for Steve Allman. He just looked very unsure of himself in the crease.
You know, and it's one thing that the Norwegian goaltenders and European goaltenders in general over the years do not do well, and that is control the puck and have control of their sticks. They're not very good with their sticks, and I think Allman is a pretty good indication of that, as we see probably the first or most physical check of the game.
And Jim
right
Johnson
there.
really stood up the blue line right here.
There's a nice play by Jimmy Johnson. That's one thing you really want to do against the Europeans, is stand them up. They do not like to dump the puck in the zone, and the check after, boom. Haha, good. You like to see a little of that once in a while. As Guy Gosselin, who is a very physical player and does like to play the body. But you know, one thing the Europeans do not like to do is dump the puck in the zone. They would rather carry it in and set up. And if you stand them up at the blue line, it does frustrate them quite a bit and gets them off their game.
Might I surmise you're never going to go and like coach hockey in Norway?
No, I'm not.
You like this hitting too much.
I'm not very popular in Norway.
Well, we're at the midway point now of period 3. The USA leading 3-1. And as we watch this period progress, a real theme also is how the United States team has progressed. They did not fare well in the initial 4 games here. They got beat rather handily by some very good teams. But ever since those first 4 losses, the addition of a couple of more players, Mike Modano, John Casey, Neil Broughton, this whole championship has turned around.
Well, it's very difficult for Team USA, especially this year, not having as many players available as they would like to have, and then opening up with Czechoslovakia, Canada, Soviets, and Sweden, the 4 top teams in the world that they start out right off the bat with. And one of the reasons of that, and the reason that is that your schedule is set up by how you played in the previous World Championship. So it's a kind of a catch-22 for the United States. Until they can finish higher in the standings, they're not going to open up with any of the weak teams, such as possibly Norway or West Germany. They're going to open up with Czechoslovakia, the Soviets, right away until they finish higher.
Now it's swept in on net. Here's Johnson trying to get out, cannot. Norway trying to put some pressure on there at the point now where they need to start thinking offense down 2. There's a shot that's kicked out by Casey, another one, and Casey with the quickness steers it to the near side.
Well, the United States cannot get lulled into sleep here. They have to keep their not so much game going, but they have to maintain some pressure. I mean, they're winning 3-1, and it kind of seems like they're on cruise control, in total control of the game. But, you know, one errant play, one defensive lapse, and it becomes 3-2, and then now you're going to see a different Norwegian team. But the United States has to get back into the flow of the game a little more. They can't just sit back and expect that this game is going to end 3-1.
And as you watch this is that kind of game. You could easily be, as a player, lulled into a false sense of security.
Very much so. You know, the puck is just kind of moving along. Everybody's playing their position. There really isn't any physical part of the game to get your aggressiveness or get your mind into the game. You're just kind of going with the flow, and that's something the Europeans like to have happen. You just keep going back and forth, back and forth. Next thing you know, they're going to pop a goal in on you, and they're back in the game.
And Casey's trying to keep himself in the game there.
Well, he has not had that many real big scoring opportunities, and he hasn't had to make that many big saves. So one way for him to get in the flow of the game is to handle the puck as much as he can.
This is a real contrast as well to the second period, where we had a lot of whistles, a lot of penalties. This play with more of a flow to it. And there's a steal by Sacco in the Norway end. Put it in front, steered wide of the cage. Sacco with it one more time. This time Hill blast and Martinson with a pad save.
Well, that's a nice save by Jim Martinson. Although Norway does a nice job of clearing out in front of the net, and we talked about it earlier with John Casey, all that goaltender wants to be able to do is see the shooter, see the shot, and he can make the save. And that was evident right there with Martinson.
Tommy O'Regan with it now into the Norway zone. Flips it across to the charging Brown, and that's a blocker pad save by Martinson. Right now, Norway's the team that needs to start getting some shots on goal.
Well, they're playing with the clock right now, and I think they eventually have to decide if they're going to try to change their offensive philosophy and try to get themselves more involved with the game. They're down 2 goals. They're running out of time. They have to generate some type of an offense, and by doing that, again, we talked about it earlier, it's going to create some scoring chances for Team USA. But they have to try to open up a little more.
Here's a rush for Norway, a shot right on, and let's see, the Norwegians say goal, the official says no.
Oh, I'll tell you, that's what we were talking about. You can get yourself lulled a little, and a real good scoring opportunity by the Norwegians. It looked like it might have ricocheted off the goalpost. Here's a look at it from the big angle. Big shot, saved by Casey. Look at the rebound. Oh, right off the post. Both posts, and Casey able to come up with the rebound, but that shot went off of both posts, so we still remain Norway 1.
We'll be back with more in a moment.
Check out Sports Channel America in June. Saturday Night Sizzle with the WBL Game of the Week. On U.S. Olympic Showcase, see America's best hope for gymnastics gold, plus volleyball versus France, Italy, and Brazil. Live and exclusive NASCAR action, World of International Sports, the Pro Boxing Tour, and the premiere of IWA Pro Wrestling. All that and more in June on Sports Channel America.
Ted Robinson, Mike Ruzioni, the Ice Hockey World Championship from Bern, Switzerland. That's frustrating. How you get a great shot off and it hits not 1 but 2 posts.
It's the luck of the Irish, John Casey.
Norwegian Irish. Well, John Casey will take it, right?
Oh, I'll tell you.
That's the sweetest sound in the world sometimes.
Rather be lucky than good, right?
And here comes Norway now. Again, you can sense a little more desperation in their efforts. Down 3-1. USA beat Norway 9-4 earlier in this championship.
As was talked about earlier, Ted, the game going exactly the way the Norwegians would like it to go, obviously, except for the scoreboard. But the flow of the game, the pace of the game, is just what they would like to have happen. When getting a scoring opportunity, try to capitalize on it. They haven't been able to do that. And here we look at it again, another opportunity for them. As you can see, Chris Dahlquist with either an elbow, a punch, whatever you want to call it. Another look at it. I would say he could call that a roughing, he could call it a cross-check, and he could call it an elbow.
So Dahlquist is going to get the penalty here, and that penalty comes at 14:20 of the third period. So Norway gets yet another opportunity. They have had a series of power play chances. That is the 9th minor penalty of the game against the United States.
Again, look for the United States to continue killing penalties the way they have throughout this game. Become aggressive. Try to take that pass away to the middle defenseman. And if the puck does go to the middle defenseman for the shot on net, make sure you're clearing out in front so that Casey has a clear view and a clear angle of the shooter and able to pick up the puck.
Neil Broughton up front along with Paul Ranheim right now for the United States, with Norton and Brown on defense. This might be the last gasp for Norway, a power play here with just over 5 minutes to play. Down 3-1. Geir Hoff, number 10, has the Norway goal in the game. There's one steered wide by Casey. Now work free behind the net, centering pass right on the doorstep, and Casey got a pad. He didn't get much of it, but he got enough to steer Lebdahl's shot away. Here's Broughton feeding. Here's Brown coming in, and Brown scores! A shorthanded goal by Greg Brown. And that makes it 4-1.
I was going to say, Ted, one thing about Greg Brown, one thing he does extremely well is he can skate. 1988 Olympian, captain at Boston College, a defenseman, comes up with the play. Look at that nice little move. Goes to the backhand. Martinson thinks he's going to cut across the net. Martinson goes one way. Brown just deflects the puck back between his legs. Again, nice pass by Neil Broughton. Watch this. Anticipates possibly the pass going across to Broughton. Martinson goes across the ice. Brown makes a nice move and puts it between his legs. Greg Brown, one of the candidates, a finalist this year for the Hobie Baker winner as the most outstanding player in college hockey. 88 Olympian, great player at Boston College, and a real pretty play. Shows you the skills that he has. He's a great offensive defenseman, has great speed. Nice play, nice goal. I would say right now it's going to be awfully difficult for Norway, trailing by 3 goals, to come back in this game.
And what a backbreaker that is, too, with their power play. That they've been shut down on. Norway has. Now they give up a short-handed goal.
You talk about a big momentum swing right there. Instead of maybe having a chance to make it 3-2, the United States makes it 4-1.
15:37, the time of the goal by Greg Brown. And now the penalty elapsed, so we're back to full strength as Casey makes the glove save. It's 4-1 USA.
Hey, are you a sports fan? How would you like to win $100?
Do what?
$100. All you have to do is answer 6 sports trivia questions.
Like what?
Like questions on football, soccer, tennis, basketball, golf, baseball, auto racing. Yep, all sports. Just answer 6 trivia questions.
What are the questions?
Well, I can't tell you. Just call 1-900-446-GAME from a touch-tone phone. Answer 6 questions and win $100. It's that easy. In fact, over $100,000 has already been
What was that
won.
number again?
1-900-446-GAME. Call now. In fact, call anytime. Test your sports knowledge and win $100. Championship Sports Trivia is only 95 cents per minute. Call 1-900-446-GAME.
You're right. I won. No joke. Give me the money.
You can't win if you don't call. Call 1-900-446-GAME. So what are you waiting for? Call now.
Yeah. One.
Face off back in the Norway zone. A blast from the point by Kesmer. That's steered away. 4-1, the United States leading. Goals in the first period by Jeff Norton and Paul Ranheim. In the second period by Kevin Stevens, and here in the third period, shorthanded goal by Greg Brown. Robert Reynolds up now, and his shot is steered behind the net by Martinson. Now Tim Taylor trying to get this line. Reynolds and Pritchie, they have not played much tonight, getting them a shift here later in the game.
It's interesting, when they've played, Ted, they have played well also.
You can see the fresh legs when they come out. The United States would go to 5-4 if they close this one out with 1 game remaining in the World Championship. They'll be playing Finland in that game. Here's a 2-on-1, and Fritchie with a shot that goes wide. And the United States has already defeated Finland in this championship. They're about to make it 2 wins over Norway. But as you mentioned, there's a giveaway, and walking right in. Oh, Danton Cole was robbed by Martinson. Right on the doorstep. Good save.
One of the great advantages of doing business with a firm like Schwab is that you're dealing with professionals across the whole country. They're creating financial advantages for the individual investor.
I think the absence of sales pressure makes a really big difference to our customer. They've seen the competition, and they've come to a place where we don't have an axe to grind, and we don't have a sales quota to fill. I think investors find Schwab a really refreshing change.
The reason why I like working for Charles Schwab, it's an incredibly innovative company. and there are many things you can get involved in. It's not just stocks and bonds.
Many of our customers transfer their other brokerage accounts to Schwab because we make it easy. We help the customer complete the right form, they sign them, and we do the rest. It's that simple.
For a free booklet describing Schwab services, call toll-free 800-841-0300. That's 800-841-0300. Call Schwab today.
Here's a look at the replay. Danton Cole, pretty play, pretty move. He did everything he had to do except put it in the net. But give that man credit. Jim Martinson, outstanding glove save. You talk about a cherry picker. Watch this right here. Cole comes in, he takes his time, he does everything he has to do. He makes the goalie make his move first. He goes to put it up top. He didn't get it up quick enough, but Jim Martinson with a fine glove save.
Oh, Danton Cole's going to dream about that one tonight.
Yeah, that's the kind of that you wake up, you know, in 2 years, he's going to be thinking about that.
Well, Mike, what have you seen in this game that, and this is the 9th game now out of 10 for the United States, that shows you that they've made some good progress as a team during this championship?
Well, I think one of the things, too, is, and let's not forget the fact that they are a better hockey team than Norway. And they obviously look a lot better against a team like this. But I think what they have is some stability. They have some cohesiveness, something they did not have earlier. They have some players that never played together. They now get them over here for a few games. They're obviously become better because of the fact that Modano, Broughton, and Casey are in the lineup. But they get to know one another a lot better. They get to play a few more games with each other, and they get to know each other's moves. Plus, it's a new philosophy of play for them. North American style, come over, play in a big ice surface. They have a new coach. They have a new system of play. They have to get used to that also. It takes time. It's something that just doesn't happen overnight. It takes a few games. Unfortunately for them, they had to open up with Czechoslovakia, Canada, and the Soviet Union. And yes, Canada has the same problem that Team USA has, but they also have an availability of more players, more top-line players that USA does have.
As the final seconds wind down, now the USA team continues its dominance of the consolation round. About to make it 5 straight wins, all with John Casey in net. And that's it, our final 4-1 Team USA. We'll have a wrap-up in a moment.
Squeak and streak, streak and squeak, while you play hide and seek. Can't anyone make a decent windshield wiper? Introducing Triple Edge. It's more than decent, it's incredible. Triple Edge is the world's first high-tech windshield wiper. It clears, it cleans, it wipes dry, all in a single pass. But that's not all. Unlike ordinary wipers, Triple Edge wipers are not made of rubber. They won't tear, dry rot, or freeze to your windshield. Triple Edge is a patented design made from DuPont Nordell, the same space-age material used in 50,000-mile radial tires. It's so strong, we guarantee these wipers for as long as you own your car. If they ever fail for any reason, we'll replace them free. Why put up with this when you can have this? Triple Edge gives you visibility through the heaviest downpour. It whisks away snow and ice. Even mud is no match for Triple Edge. State troopers, ambulances, and taxicabs are switching to Triple Edge. Shouldn't you? It's the greatest windshield wiper ever made. No noise, no streaking, no smearing, no tearing. Triple Edge installs in seconds on any car, van, or truck, foreign or domestic. They're only $19.95 a pair, custom fit for your make and model. Remember, Triple Edge wipers are guaranteed for as long as you own your car. They're not sold in stores, so order now. They're the last windshield wipers you'll ever buy.
Call toll-free 1-800-453-5000. That's 1-800-453-5000. Or send $19.95 plus $4.50 shipping and handling to Triple Edge Wipers, 2 Morgan Avenue, Norwalk, Connecticut. Please include your car or car's make, model, and year for correct sizing. Use your credit card and call now 1-800-453-5000.
4-1 Team USA over Norway. Very good effort by USA's team. Great penalty killing, and then a shorthanded goal by Greg Brown to ice it late in the third period.
Oh, that was the killer for Norway. Here's a look at Greg Brown's goal. He makes a pretty play. Looks like he's going to pass it across to Neil Broughton and just slides it over to his backhand. Martinson, anticipating the pass, goes across, and Brown is able to put it into net. Another look at it here. Nice feed by Broughton to Brown. Brown's got great speed. He looks like he's going to pass it back to Broughton, puts it back onto his backhand, slides it between Martinson's leg. Short-handed goal, made the score 4-1. It was just a case of Team USA just having a little too much talent, a little too much ability.
That's 5 in a row for Team USA with Mike Eruzione. I'm Ted Robinson. Thanks for being with us at the Ice Hockey World Championship.
Good evening and welcome to Sports Nightly. I'm Betsy Ross in New York.
I'm Lee Zeidman. Temper tantrums top the news. Andre Agassi gets upset but wins at the French Open. And a bunch of baseball managers go bananas and get the boot, while the Bulls see red in Chicago.
Another good game today. It's now down to a best-of-3 series in the East and West in the NBA playoffs. The Chicago Bulls turned up the heat and cooled.
In 11 games. And we have a kind of pitch invasion we could well have done without. Let's watch it again. It seemed the ball would never go in. Brian Dean making great ground. It was well played for Ghana. The goalkeeper didn't really hold it. Rostron was in there. It fell for Bryson. Bryson hit it well, off the line. Agana's in there again, and finally Brian Dean. I reckon they had about 8 attempts at that. Which will be just what his manager David Fleet will have been hoping, I rather imagine. Alan Paris, control let him down, and Wood was in there. And it's 2 against 2 in the penalty area if you can get it over, but North was in the way. Dean flicked for Agana, onside, 3-1. The old 1-2 that worked so often last season has worked again when it matters most at the end of this. It was back in by Wilder. Beautiful little flick from Dean. Easy. 3-1. Well, I think if titles were won on volume of support, Sheffield United's fans are putting in a good bid in this opening 35 minutes. Dean won the header for Wood. Agana might have taken his head off if he'd had a go at it. Forward from Barnes for Agana. Won by Moughton, well won. And again. First time ever from Rostron, and it's gone in! Wilf Rostron! It's all going their way. Third goal of the season for Wilf Rostron. More joy for the travelling faithful. And the oldest man on the field has struck gold. Just watch. And a shot from Mark North has gone in. Well, he may be playing at the back, but the striker's instinct hasn't gone. And it's 4-2. The throw from James caused the problem. It wasn't properly cleared. Half chance, bang, 4-2. Oh, now the slip by Paris has let Agana in. Will this seal the season? Will it go? It has gone in. And Tony Agana surely now has put Sheffield United back into the First Division after 14 years. Certainly they think so. Tony Agana, it wasn't absolutely clean, the finish. Nobody will care about that. See it again, the slip by Paris, who completely misjudged the bounce of the ball. And Agana was on his way and slipped it past North, and it bobbled just inside the post. The referee has checked his watches several times, and he's off. The final whistle goes on Sheffield United's season. The referee, I think, had planned that to make sure that the players could get off, or as many of them as possible, before the 7,000 Sheffield United fans who've come down to celebrate could invade the pitch and engulf the players. It's been everything Sheffield United could possibly have hoped for this afternoon. Goals from Wood, Dean, Agana and Roster in that purple patch in the first half. Mills and North replying in that extraordinary 45 minutes. Just Tony Agana's effort in the second half. Maybe slightly an anticlimax in terms of football. No anticlimax in terms of the occasion. Sheffield United have won promotion.